things now. The Sports Illustrated High School Athlete of the Year, Hunter Gandee, joins us here at the Monroe Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Superstore. He is with his mom, Danielle, and of course Kerrigan's here, and Kellen's here, and Braden as well. We've got the whole Gandee family here, and again, thanks for coming down, everybody. And Hunter, thanks for taking the time. I talked to your AD, Mark Garvin, quite a bit. I know a little bit about your schedule. You're a busy guy, so thanks for working us in today. But first and foremost, congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. We're so happy to be here, and we're just really excited to be able to share.
Well, you got a great looking family here. First things first, I mean, for the folks that aren't aware of the story, and I don't think there's many out there in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan that haven't heard your story, but you're here with your brother Braden. Of course, he's afflicted with cerebral palsy. And not too far from where I live, over at Douglas Road Elementary, I read that story as well, but you were trying to find an area, of course, for your brother to go have some fun, and one thing led to another, and I'll let you tell the story beyond that.
Yeah, so we had, well, it started, I carried him 40 miles back in June of 2014, just to raise awareness for his cerebral palsy and to get the word out and to tell people about his condition. It's an injury to the brain that happens during, before, or shortly after birth. And it just affects his muscle movements. He's a little tighter. Some people just have it in different ways. Some people are a little looser, a little weaker, but his muscles kind of squeeze together. And we just wanted to tell people about cerebral palsy so that maybe in the future there's going to be ways that we can make his life a little bit easier.
And you said easier too, and that's kind of what led to it because of the playground, and you were starting to think we have to make people aware of this, and and exercise and being able to be active in their own life, and the money raising, fundraising thing came to mind, not once but twice, is that correct? You walked from the Bedford area up to Ann Arbor?
Yep, then we went after it again in June of 2015, and we walked 57 miles this time over the course of 3 days to, again, raise awareness for cerebral palsy. But we got so much awareness from our walk, and so many people wanted to help us out in some way. Now, the walks weren't fundraisers. They were just strictly awareness projects. We just wanted to tell people about cerebral palsy. But we had so many people from across the country coming to us and saying, hey, we want to show our support in some way, but we can't come walk with you. What can we do? Can we donate somewhere? So we actually raised $19,000 that was donated to the University of Michigan, just in our name. And then people wanted to do something specifically for Braden, and we were able to raise about $180,000 today, which we used to build a playground at Braden School, a handicap accessible, all-inclusive playground.
That's wonderful, wonderful stuff. Again, this high school athlete of the year, Sports Illustrated, they've never done it in the high school level before. Tell us a little bit about that, and I guess the next question would be, how were you contacted, and tell us the chain of events that led to that, Hunter Gandee.
Well, it actually started, they heard our story about the first walk, and we had gotten a phone call, and they just said we want to do a short story in our magazine. And they did that for the first walk, and then they heard that we were doing it again for a second walk. And they said, okay, we started this new program. It was called the High School Athlete of the Month program, and they wanted me to be the June High School Athlete of the Month. So they actually came out and they did a bunch of videoing during the walk. We worked with a girl named Allie who did an amazing job. She actually came out and walked with us most of the way, and we had a great time, and they put together a video, and I was their June High School Athlete of the Month. And then came time at the end of the year, at the end of their magazine year, and they said we're going to pick one of their High School Athlete of the Month to be our High School Athlete of the Year. And they told me that I was chosen, and they flew us out to New York, and we had a great time visiting people at Sports Illustrated.
Well, I mean, that leads to my next question. I talked to Mark Garvin and everybody, and I'm a Bedford guy myself up in Temperance, and we heard so much about this. Tell us a little bit about, again, I spent 10 years in New York at a radio station there with the New Jersey Devils. It's a daunting place, believe me. My wife and daughters, who are Bedford people themselves, they come and visit me in New York. They loved it. They wanted to come back all the time, but it's a daunting place. Tell me when you got there, your thoughts of New York, and if you could, tell us a little bit about the itinerary and some of the activities that you were able to experience from the folks at Sports Illustrated.
Well, it's definitely different than Bedford. Definitely a lot more rushed, a lot more people. I had actually been there once before on a missions trip with a church group, so I had already experienced it. My family was going there for the first time, and it was pretty cool. We were kind of even rushed more than just the normal Detroit or New York atmosphere is, because we were only there for about a day and a half. But we went to the Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year Gala, actually renamed it the Sports Person of the Year Gala, because it was Serena Williams ended up being their Sports Person of the Year, and it was really cool just getting to meet all the people there and meet Serena. We had a lot of fun.
Oh, I could only imagine. Hey, we did say athlete of the year, so I guess we're going to bulge into a little bit aside of that. And anybody that's aware of the Bedford Kicking Mules and their wrestling program for as long as I can remember, I'm not going to tell you the year that I graduated, but I'll tell you it was a long time ago. And Bedford was the best wrestling team in the state then. I think Denny Brighton at the time was the coach, and his legacy goes on a little bit, and a great coaching staff now as well. But tell me about how things are going in wrestling. You told me you had a bit of a tough draw this year for the Mules in the state championship.
Yeah, as a team, we actually had a pretty good year. We did make it to states. We lost the first round of states, but we had a great season, and we had a really good team. We're gonna graduate quite a few.
Yeah, Shimon, the car showroom, Scott, your car showroom, please.
And we're gonna miss them a lot. Really good friends with all of them. But we had a good season overall, and off season actually starts one day, so we're ready to get back at it.
What weight class did you wrestle in, or you project yourself wrestling?
I wrestled in the weight class 160 at the beginning of the year, and then I had to actually bump up to 171 about halfway through the season, because my coach he wants me to wrestle 189 next year, so he told me to start putting on weight.
Tell me a little bit about what's coming up. We understand our timing today to get together. My name's Mike Miller again, along with Hunter Gandee. He's a Sports Illustrated High School Athlete of the Year. Wrestles at Bedford, is here with, of course, his mom Danielle, and Kerrigan, his sister, and Kellen, and Braden's here as well, over here to my left with the Monroe Superstore hat on. By the way, my good friend Nick Nowatzki is here as well. We were up doing a show from his dad's place this week, the former Detroit Lion, Tom Nowatzki, with Eric Hipple was there, and Rick Volk of University of Michigan, All-American, and also Tom Maddie as well. So you had the 2 walks to Ann Arbor. Those weren't necessarily fundraisers. You said they were for awareness. And now another one planned for Lansing.
Yep, actually just today we announced we are doing our third walk, our third and final walk. It's going to be...
I gotta interrupt you, Hunter. You emphasize that final. You might have said that after the first or the second one. For sure you're saying it now, this is it?
Yeah, actually after the last 2 walks, directly after, I said I don't want to do this again because my muscles just felt, they're done, and I didn't want to walk just because I was so sore. But we knew that we wanted to keep going eventually, and we think that this is going to be our final walk. One of the biggest reasons is that Braden is going to keep growing. He's 9 years old. Next year he'll be 10, and when you're at that age, you get a lot bigger pretty fast.
Oh yeah, that's the pretty good point.
He's going to be a little too heavy, I think, for me to continue carrying.
Well, I was going to ask you that. I mean, you're a wrestler. You're in great shape. I mean, I have people tell me all the time. Of course, you're football players, which you played, baseball, basketball, all good athletes. When you get into the swimming and the wrestling, this is where the real workouts are at the high school level. And I was going to ask you this. I mean, how did you feel after a 57-mile walk?
Oh, I was really sore. I was really sore, really exhausted.
Well, you're as sore as you thought you would be, or I mean, was this in increments after 10 miles? You're going, hey, I'm doing all right. Then after 15, it's getting a little bit worse. And how was your stamina at the end?
It actually, it plays up and down as we're walking there a mile. Where I'm feeling pretty good, and all of a sudden we get half a mile farther, and I'm like, oh man, I'm really feeling it now. So it just kind of plays along as we go. But yeah, wrestling, it helps me get in really good shape. Even more, it helps me develop that mental toughness that you really, I don't think, get in many other sports. But also, I've been training. I actually got a personal trainer I've been training with Brian Strock out of Fitness for All, and he's helping to get me ready for this walk and help prepare me.
I had your coach on here, and I forget his name. Help me out, Hunter. I had the Bedford wrestling coach on.
Andy Nelson, line
Kevin
one.
Vogel. We
Andy
had
Nelson,
Kevin on,
line
who
one.
wrestled in Bedford too, I think. Hey, this is Drive Time. It's driven by the Low Payment King, Ralph Mahalik. My name is Mike Miller. Glad to have you on board. We're going to talk about the Low Payment King's $1 million bracket challenge in a little bit. But as always, visit the MonroeSuperstore.com. This is the Low Payment King's 50th anniversary year, by the way, and we're honored to have Sports Illustrated's High School Athlete of the Year with us, Hunter Gandee. My good friend Nick Nowatzki's here with me, soaking up a little bit of the sun right here as we're in the sunlight as well. Jim Cushland is back at the studio. Big day for Michigan basketball fans. We'll talk about that at 5:30. You know, you walk in here, and I often said this, and I don't mean to get on my soapbox here at all, Hunter Gandee, but I notice a very strong family bond here, and I think in some segments, people don't realize how important a family bond is. Not only what you did or doing for your brother Braden, but the support of your mom and your brother and your sister, and as you mentioned, your teammates as well. That's a big part of it as well.
Oh yeah, it's the walk. It was a family effort. Took all my family members. It was it's just something that we do. We are a close family. We're just still a normal family. You know, me and my brother, we still pick on each other and have fun. But we're a close family, and I think that bond is really what got us to this point and got us to starting these walks. And also my teammates and my friends at school and just all the community support. That's what carried us, because we wouldn't have been able to go on without all the support.
No, I can only imagine it. It is very important. Hey, you mentioned the gala, the Sports Illustrated gala. You mentioned Serena Williams. What a great year she had. Do a little name dropping here if you could. Who else did you meet?
We met quite a few people. We met Eddie George.
Go Buckeyes.
I'm a Michigan guy, but it was still really cool. We met Jack Nicklaus, another Buckeye.
Oh, you gotta love Jack. He's one of my favorites. Listen, not to interrupt you here, but somebody asked me the other day, and I've said it before on this show, Mike, name your 5, and I'm old enough to remember. Young guys probably won't even remember this, but I had your dad.
Kimmerl, line 1.
And Nowatzki, but name your 5 favorite athletes of all time. I had Gordy Howe, number 1, Al Kaline, number 2, Jack Nicklaus, number 3, and Brooks Robinson, number 4. So I'm aging myself. I envy you just for being able to meet Jack. Tell me something about the Jack. Anything you can pass on?
It was actually kind of quick that we talked to him. It was just on stage after I had received my award, but it was really just cool to be in an atmosphere with so many amazing athletes, and it was really cool.
How many people at this event?
Jam-packed? It was I would say a few hundred.
Bill Hall, line 2. Bill Hall, line 2.
A speech, and it was a lot of fun.
Hunter Gandee joins us. Bedford Wrestler is the Sports Illustrated High School Athlete of the Year. You mentioned speech here, Hunter. You're doing that now, kind of on a professional mode, and again, raising the awareness for cerebral palsy. Tell me a little bit about that and your schedule and what you're up to.
Yeah, we actually just flew in earlier this week. We were out in Los Angeles, and I spoke there at Shane's Inspiration